Good morning. I'd like to welcome you all to our first Sunday summer worship of 2021. Our summer worship is going to look a little different this year. Throughout the course of the summer, every second week, you will have a traditional worship service as we generally understand that to be. But the focus of those four services will be around for three of them, what might be considered an iconic piece of music, popular culture music that many of us know. The last one is a little more obscure piece of music, but I think it speaks deeply. Those services will be about how that music speaks to us as Christians. Two of the services this summer will be compilation services of music. So you will have one which is a compilation of praise band and praise singers music. The other one will be a compilation of worship music from the worship singers, the worship band, or the worship choir, and the worship leaders. The other two will be short services of prayer. There'll be readings, a short meditation possibly. And that's what we're beginning with today. Today we offer to you a service of remembrance, of prayer, also a communion service. And so if you haven't already gathered together your communion elements, I invite you to pause the video for a moment, to do that now, and then to come back. The service today is once again in response to the ongoing discovery, or not really discovery because people knew they were there, but the ongoing finding of the remains at former residential schools here in Canada. It might be a challenging service, but I invite you to just sit back and experience the service. There's no bulletin, there's no responsive parts. I invite you to just be a part of the service. It is July 4th, just after Canada Day, as we have been through a time when there have been calls that we need to rethink what it means to celebrate Canada Day, when there's been calls to say we don't celebrate Canada Day. There's been calls that we may want to think about it as a day of remembrance and a day of mourning. And so, as people in the church, we quite often use candles to symbolize our remembrance, our hope, and our mourning. And so I'm going to light these candles this morning as a symbol of our remembrance, a symbol of our mourning, and a symbol of our hope in these times this year. I invite you to center yourselves as we enter into a time of prayer. God of deep, infinite presence, we come today with hearts heavy with grief. With each discovery of more remains, we ask, how? Why? So many questions, God, and sometimes we struggle to hold tight to our faith in the midst of what seems like such a dark world. Give us the courage to not look away, to not shy away from the truth of our history and who we still are today. We speak of truth and reconciliation, but we sometimes forget that truth must come first. And that is something that we don't always want to hear. Give us the strength to hear the truth that we have hidden from for so long, the truth that has been whispered by many of the survivors of the residential schools, the truth that we have for so long discounted. Help us to know that in the truth lie the way forward for all of us. God of compassion, help us also to know that you call us to action now. An action that will make a difference. Action that can change the world. Help us to see how our model of charity doesn't really address the systematic issues of racism, poverty, and marginalization that we have continued to unwittingly support throughout the years. Help us to recognize that our charity makes us feel better, but it doesn't really change us. It doesn't challenge us to dismantle the structures that keep so many down. It allows us to not take action, but rather to feel good about ourselves as we give out of our own abundance. We ask for the courage to make real changes in ourselves, in our lives, in our community, in our world. The courage to truly be people of action. Loving God, you know all that we hide from. Give us the strength to face this world, our pasts, our history, our presence, and our future together, living with respect for all, loving all, hearing all. Amen. Now hear these words of assurance. God is a God of deep mercy and forgiveness. The future is up to us now. Give us the strength, God, to move forward, to truly listen, to hear, to grieve with those who grieve, to stand as allies. God desires us to truly live into God's love, mercy, justice, compassion, and faith. Let us hear God's call so that we might truly be God's people in the world. The video that I'm about to share with you now is a video that was produced using the talents, the amazing talents of the young people of Grassy Narrows First Nation in northwestern Ontario. It is a song that speaks to the past, but also speaks to their hope for the future, as we all hope for the future.
This is a place where we love the land. Let's work to show our pride. Keep us safe, keep us free, like it used to be. Don't wanna be tied down. We find love where we're from and beat against the drums. It's a beautiful sound.
From the ground up, we'll find the path home. Feel pulled by the sun, wish I can go. We learn from the past, now we can grow. We're promised a chance to plants show. Go big, go far, there are no limits. I wanna see change, so my soul lives it. They cut down the trees while we blow kisses. Defend our home while they dismiss us.
It feels like home to me. It feels like home to me. Sometimes it's hard to find the words to say home to me. Don't
the scars from the past. Rise from the ruins, keep protecting the land. Don't take it for granted, can't neglect what we have. Stand together as a nation, express what we feel. True conversation, address what is real. Connected to the land, we are one with each other. This is our home to discover.
It feels like home to me. It feels like home to me. Sometimes it's hard to find the words to say you're home to me. Sometimes it's hard to find the words to say you're home to me.
Gotta stay on point like the fastest arrow. Bring hope to the people of grassy narrows. One piece in the land, can't go back to battles. Eighth fire in action, casting shadows. From old to the new, let us show you the truth. Light up the path, there's a glow in the youth. Buju to the world, this is where we live. So let the journey begin.
그대 시간이간. It feels like home to me. It feels like home to me. 그대 시간이간. It feels like home to me. It feels like home to me. Sometimes it's hard to find the words to say you're home to me. Sometimes it's hard to find the words to say you're home to me.
I now invite you to gather together your communion elements as we enter into a time of coming together at God's table. In the beginning, the Creator created all that was, and it was good. In time, humanity moved across all of creation, growing, evolving, learning to live in harmony. On Turtle Island, many nations evolved, living with respect in creation. These nations learned the ways of the land, governed themselves in ways that were natural to them. And to the Creator, it was very good. Settlers came, bringing with them foreign ways, ways that were imposed, ways that were based in superiority, not equality, based in a belief of their own understanding of the world, which became the expected norms. Throughout the years, we have refused to hear the voices of those who have called us back to the Creator, refused to hear the voices of those who call for respect and reconciliation. The voices of prophets, musicians, and mystics have been silenced. And so we continue to live in ways that continue to perpetuate the harms of the past, the harms that have damaged the beautiful cultures that existed before we arrived. We have forgotten Jesus' call to solidarity, calls to reconciliation, not with power, but with those who have been wronged, those who have been systematically marginalized and ostracized. On the night before he died, Jesus met with his followers, the outcasts, the homeless, those who challenged societal norms, believed in a new way. And including all at the meal, Jesus took the bread that had been prepared and he broke the bread and he gave it to his friends and said, "This is the bread of new life." A new life that we are all challenged to live. Every time you eat this bread, remember this meal. Remember me. After dinner, Jesus took the wine. Pouring it, he passed the cup to his gathered friends, saying, "This is the cup of communion. Communion with each other, communion with creation, communion with all created in the image of the Creator. Each time you drink of this cup, remember this meal. Remember me." At this table, we remember Jesus' life, his life of true justice, his life of love for all, his life of reconciliation, his life lived in truth. As we come to this table, we must remember that it is truly God's table and all are welcome at the Creator's table. We remember all that Jesus was, all that Jesus did, and in coming to this banquet, we commit ourselves to this work in the world today. The feast has been prepared. All are welcome to come to God's table of peace, justice, love, mercy, and compassion. The bread of life. The cup of communion.
Hey yo, hey, hey, be a way, oh, hey yo, hey, hey, be a way, oh, hey yo, hey yo, hey, hey, be a way, oh, hey yo, hey yo. Remember me, when the sun comes up in the morning sky. There I will be, soaring with the eagle so high, feeling free. Remember me, down the road, hand in hand, you and me. Hello, hey, hey, be a way, oh, hey, hey, be a way, oh, hey, 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 be a way, oh, hey, Remember me, when the sun comes up in the morning sky. There I will be, Soaring with the eagle so high, feeling free. Remember me. Down the road, hand in hand, you and me. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh.
Hello, hey.
Hey, we are with it, oh, hey, oh, hey. Hey, we are with it, oh, hey, oh, hey. Hey, oh, hey. Hey, we are with it, oh, hi, oh, hey. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Remember me, remember me. When the sun comes up in the morning sky, there I will be, there I will be. Soaring with the eagle so high, feeling free. Remember me. Down the road, hand in hand, you and me. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh.
Hey, oh, hey.
Hey, we are, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey. Hey, we are, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey. Hey, oh, hey. Hey, we are, hey, oh, hi, oh, hey. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Remember me, remember me. When the sun comes up in the morning sky, there I will be, there I will be. Soaring with the eagle so high, feeling free. Remember me. Down the road, hand in hand, you and me. Hi-yo, hey-yo, hey-yo.
I'd like to close with a prayer from Lonnie Elliott, a resident of Regina and survivor of the 60s scoop, who wrote the following reflection. And Mother Earth, she wept at night as she wrapped her arms around them and cradled them within her warmth so that someday we would find them. For she knew that they were born from love, and to love they would return soon. But until that day, she'd hold them close underneath her clouded moon. Then finally, the day arrived, when the clouds released the rain and Mother Earth could set them free to come back to their homes again. We go from this time together to remember, but not only to remember, but to ensure that all those who are missing get brought home. It is our work, and we must not tire. We must not fail. The Talmud tells us, do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Do justly now. Love mercy now. Walk humbly now. You are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to abandon it. Amen. If you would like to know what you can do moving forward, I invite you to contact us here at the church. Send us an email and we can send you a list of resources, books, organizations, ways that we can continue to move forward as a community so that this doesn't just become a prayer, a service of remembrance, a service of prayers, but it spurs us to action, to move forward in hearing truth and walking the road to true reconciliation.
$2.15 and counting, children 6 feet underground. This isn't who we are, but this is where we're from somehow. Our history has pages missing, now it's been exposed. So bring your salt to school, kids, question everything you're told. Seems history is written by hands holding bigger guns. So be careful when you listen and more careful when you judge. It's 7:51 now and the dirt soaked up the blood, but the bones remain to tell us that there's work here to be done. Oh, okay.